All right, guys, we are back for another day. Got equipment warming up. Let me show you what the plan is. All right, just to kind of recap yesterday, guys, we stripped a bunch of topsoil up there, took all that dirt, moved it over in front of the house, and we got it pretty close. Visited with the homeowner last night. He is very happy with that. So once we got done with that, Jerry came down here and started stripping topsoil in this area here. This is where the pond or lake's gonna go. I guess we can argue about that in the comment section like we always do, whether it's a pond or a lake. It is gonna have some springs feeding it, so by a lot of your guys' definition, that makes it a lake. But I don't know if you can see, I kind of scratched just a preliminary little direction the dam's gonna go. We can't go straight with it because we get into really shallow rock down there. So we're trying to kind of go to about where that topsoil strip. I know the sun's in your guys' eyes. Then we're gonna kind of head up the hill a little bit to kind of confirm that's the direction we need to take. Matt's getting the laser set up this morning. We're gonna get a couple elevations. We got some foundation drains that come out of the house. We can't back water up over, and we got to stay at least 50 feet away from the septic field bed here. And we're not going to take any chances. We're going to stay every bit of 50 feet away from it to make sure we don't have any issues. And if we do have issues, we got room to put a second bed in case for some crazy reason we end up having a failure. So Matt looks very confused over there this morning. It's a stick.
Yeah, but you just pulled out the tip that ain't stuck.
Yeah.
True 15 feet.
It don't matter. All we need is an elevation. We don't care about that.
You don't want to know what the difference is?
No, I don't care what the difference is. I just need to know what they are. And I got a tape measure if I need to know the distance.
And you think that's less fall than whatever
Yes.
it really is?
Did you not learn anything from the last one at your house?
We'll make you bet.
Put your indicator on there. Let's go. Kids nowadays, kids. Well, I'd say there's your evidence we're not going to have a really tall dam.
No.
The topsoil pile's almost tall enough.
Topsoil pile's what, 4.5 feet tall?
So the challenge on this one's going to be is we're going to have way more dirt than what we need for these dams. These dams are just not going to be much at all. So if you guys can kind of see from up here, I think you can see, I think I cut across there at an angle. We got a corner back there that we're going to kind of just stockpile dirt is probably what's going to end up happening and going on around. I'll say we do one more thing, Matt. Let's walk over in there and kind of see. I think our low spot's probably going to be in that valley over there, but kind of see where we're at over there. Hey, look, it's already holding water.
Definitely water in there.
We're done. Let's go home.
I don't think you can catch any fish there.
I got a feeling that water is probably on that rock ledge down there somewhere. All right, after shooting some elevations, looking this over and kind of getting the plan, we're pretty close to where we thought we were going to be up there. You guys can kind of see the trench I've been talking about. One thing I think we're going to do this morning is we're going to take that topsoil we piled up down there yesterday and crowd it towards our silt fence a little bit more. I think we can get that dam moved that way 20-30 feet. It's going to make a big difference up there because that's the one place we're kind of choked off at a little bit. So let's get rolling. First things first, this morning we'll get this topsoil pile pushed back a little bit. Jerry is coming this morning. He had a few appointments he had to make this morning. He couldn't change, so he'll be here shortly. And Jerry didn't do anything wrong by putting this pile here. You guys can see off to the side over there. He was trying to leave us enough room to go to put this dirt back. We could get a dozer. We could get a dozer down behind the pile and push it back up without disturbing our silt fence. The problem is we need the extra space, so at this point we'll probably have to try to bring an excavator in and push it back with an excavator, or swing it up the hill with an excavator. But it'll be all right. It'll be worth it in the long run to get the road the right size. Well, that's a soft spot right there. I'm gonna get in trouble. All right, hopefully you guys can see back there. We got all the topsoil squeezed back on the silt fence there. Had one dirt clog get loose on me. Man, I had to dig out. Sun's coming out. I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome day. So we're going to kind of start it on this core trench here and see what we got. This is some really good material, so I don't think we have to get too carried away with it. The thing we want to do, we want to make sure there's no underground passages or rock layers or roots or unknown holes or something. Anything that would allow water to get underneath the dam, we want to stop. And I don't know if it's going to be all that important up here close where we're at now. Once we get down a little farther down there where that water's coming out of the ground, it's going to be a lot more crucial. This here's fairly good material here, so I don't think we have too much to worry about it. But as we get a little farther down, that may end up being a little different story. So where I gotta dig is just wide enough to get the D4 down in. We got the compactor here. We'll come back in with some of that good clay over there. Seal her off and make sure we're good. Long story short, boys and girls, we got some digging in our future. Alright guys, we're getting along pretty good with this. This is pretty good material coming out of here. A lot of times, you can put the same material back in the core you dig out. The thing you're trying to do is disrupt anything like this root right here. If that root was laying across that core, if that thing rots out, guess what? Now you got a leak path. The other thing is I've dug through some different natural little cavities where either a mole's trenched through before or something's got through there and got a water path. And basically we're trying to disrupt all that and make sure nothing can leak underneath the dam. The material coming out of here is absolutely excellent, and we can put this material right back in the hole if we wanted to. We just got to make sure we disturb any potential leak paths that are down there. I don't know if you guys can see right there, but right there's a little bit of water, and that water is most likely from an old mole or rodent or root or something that has tunneled through there before, and now that water is able to follow that path. The Matt's down there with the D4. He just kind of keeps cleaning up the bottom of the trench coming to me. We're basically getting down to that hard pan. Normally once you get down into that hard pan, you don't have anything going through it. You're in pretty good shape. It seems to be staying about 4 or 5 feet deep, so we're in pretty good shape there. The other thing we got to watch is when we turn the corner and start going the other way, we're probably going to get some water that's going to want to flood our trench from coming out of that hillside. We may have to kind of fill in as we go to keep our trench from getting flooded so we can still get compaction on it. But right here, don't seem to be too bad. There's another round of roots I just dug out of there, so. Always seems to be a lot of questions about the core trench, and everybody seems to have a little bit different way to go about it. Honestly, it just kind of depends on your situation, your type of dirt, and how much effort you want to put into making sure the pond don't leak. That's got her pushed down there too, so you can see that dozer's on good hard bottom, which is what we want to see. A lot of good material here. So we got an awesome looking core trench going. We're getting a little deeper here. We ran into some gravel down through there. First thing Jerry said when he showed up, he said, well, that's one way to keep Matt on track. It's just dig a trench you can't get out of. So. But no surprise to anybody, Jerry fired up the LB850B. He's up our stripping topsoil. So we're gonna keep on digging on this core for a little bit, and eventually we'll start bringing some of this good dirt back in there. I was telling everybody that Jerry showed up and said, man, that's a lot of work to keep Matt on track.
Exactly right.
You want to show them what we're doing down there with the core?
Sure. Let's go back here and show you guys the starting point of the core. Maybe. Huh. So we've got some roots, obviously moles, like yards, etc. What we're trying to do is get below the point of these things right here. So you can see all this water coming down out of the bank, and it's way up there, right? We are going to seal it way down here all the way up through that. So what that allows us to do is shut off any veins from there to here where water can come out of the lake and go through. If you didn't core this out, you would basically get to a point up here, such as our ramp, to where your good clay and your good clay would not be mixed properly, and that water could come through and seep out and end up basically absorbing into that over there, and your pond's going to lower because the water's leaking. So we're going to core this out. You can see here we've got just a little bit of water, but again, it's coming from all the way up here is where that water's coming from, and then there's a little bit more right in here. So we feel pretty good about this. It's going to core out nice. It's another prime example. Water's up in this area, which is what's making it collapse down there. So all in all, this is going to turn out to be a pretty nice core. Mike is digging the core. Oh, I am shoving the dirt. This loose stuff here that he can't get to very well, I'll come in with a D4 and make this corner and shove it all up into his bank there. Looks like he's about ready for us. And there is a little bit of rock in here, but there's enough clay content in this dirt that it's still going to seal up really nicely. I mean, that's just a light squeeze. I'm not even putting a whole lot of pressure on that. So we're feeling pretty good about it.
kind of turn the corner and work our way down the front side. I'm actually taking some of this better dirt since we're getting so deep and we're generating so much dirt, putting it over here on the lake side, because we'll use it to kind of mix and put back in the hole. There's no reason why it can't go in there, but as we get deeper, as Matt pointed out, kind of hitting that gravelly layer, so I'm throwing in on the back side of the core trench so it does not end up back in there. We're definitely a little deeper than I anticipated. We're probably about 9 or 10 feet deep, but that's how deep we need to get through that layer we're worried about leaking a little bit of water. So Jerry's still up there stripping topsoil. We're gonna probably go for another 150, maybe 200 feet. And then we'll probably switch over and start getting this part of the field back in, kind of do this in sections a little bit so we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Man, it's turned out to be an awesome, absolutely awesome day. Well, that's a little bit of a gravelly layer down there. This is some unbelievably good material to be building a pond out of. Hey, Jerry, you know we got a new dozer up there, right?
That's cold weather machine. It's cold next week. I'll be back on it.
Did you find you a little friend there?
Yeah, I was dozing, you know, the keyway out, and I had someone flagging traffic behind me, and now we know why there's a whole lot of water in that keyway, because these little guys have tunnels everywhere.
Yeah, little tunnel diggers.
Little tunnel diggers.
Well, unless you're gonna eat them, I think you need to turn them loose.
Well, it takes a lot more than this one, but do you know how good that tail is right there? That's some good stuff. Crawfish. He's a fat little guy.
He is a fat little guy. He's been eating good.
Yeah,
so.
He has.
Is it necessary to have that D4 in that trench and make no more than what we're doing with it?
That's how I keep him in line, Jerry.
Now keep him down in there. At least he's down there, he can't get out.
Anything. Go to your hole.
All right, we spin around here. I'll show you guys. Our keyway is turned into quite the trench, but it's what we need to do to make sure we get her sealed off. I don't know if you guys see the D4 down there. It's every bit 8.5, 10 foot tall. We're every bit of that deep, but we're getting it. We're going to keep going here a little bit longer, and then we're probably going to switch over and start getting this stabilized before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Next reason why this dam needs the core, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like sitting on a big water bed out through here. Jerry's got a lot of this strip, but it is just wet. Look at that. This dam's got to have some sort of base to sit on, or it's just going to be nothing but trouble. So, not a whole lot of good, dirt right here. So we're going to kind of throw this all on the back side. Hopefully, when we start filling that core back in here in a minute, we can come back with some good dirt, so that dam will also have something good and solid to sit on. I think we're getting pretty close here. We're probably going to, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, really need to switch gears here and start getting this side filled in. We're calling for a little bit of rain. Today's Tuesday. They're calling for rain Wednesday night, Thursday. So I'm trying to kind of think ahead here a little bit. I think what we might do, this is the lowest part of the dam. We may switch around and start coming back and meet ourselves here tomorrow, so that way if we get caught with some rain, we got a path. But we'll see. We'll figure it out as we go. But man, this dirt here is just, it's borderline absolutely worthless. All right, give you guys a little tour of the keyway here. It's kind of turned into keyway extreme, but like I said, stuff like this is what we're trying to kind of head off. Anything like that can be a potential leak path underneath the dam, which is not what you want at all. So we go down here and kind of turn the corner. You can see, I don't want to get too far down in here, as I don't want to get myself in a dangerous situation. But you guys see this rock layer in here? If we would have just covered right back in on top of this, that layer would have allowed that water to go straight through the dam. If we go down here a little bit farther, that's where Matt hit the side of it with the dozer. Go down here a little bit farther. You guys can see where water is coming out of the bank down there. That tied into something over here, so that would just allow that water to go straight through underneath the bank. So before we go any farther, we are going to get this one filled back in, start getting it compacted. Basically, we'll put a lot of clay in here. We'll get it compacted with the compactor, and it'll basically be a dam that extends down to block any of these underwater channels or valleys we got. So start putting her back. Well, here's the plan. Jerry's gonna bring me dirt across. I'm gonna kind of layer it in there with the D4. And then Matt's gonna roll it. So hopefully we can get this filled in before it caves in. That would be nice. That'd be nice. That's the view you don't see every day, looking out level with a dozer blade. Look at out of the way, it's gonna cover me up. Up there, and they try to keep working on that water and sludge down that way. We'll get down there where the track goes out, we'll bail it all out. I've got to put you guys down or you're going to cover me up. Jerry pushed too much in there and I can't get around, so get a little different angle on it and see here what happens.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an angle there, bud.
He booby trapped me.
Gotta love it when Jerry booby traps DP. Mike's getting a little dirt on his shoulder while operating the dozer. Ah, that's a good one. Oh, I'm telling him all about it. I think he's hoping that dirt will slide over and fill in that low spot, keep him from kicking over so far. He might have whipped her that time. I think you whipped her there, bud.
The good news is I don't think I was going to turn over.
Yeah, no, you were just piling your shoulder up in dirt.
All right, Jerry, no more of that. All right, first couple feet in there, that was quite the adventurous pass. It is doing just what we wanted to. We're not vibrating, it's got a lot of moisture in it, but it's definitely sitting down in there pretty good. Matt's down there rolling the rest of it. Jerry's bringing me another push over here, and we're gonna keep on building it up. So, all right, we got the second left in. Matt's gonna go down there and finish rolling on that far end. Jerry's already bringing the dirt back in for the third lift right here. He's already got a couple in kind of ahead of us. We are getting into some better dirt here. The long story short, it's going in real nice. So just gonna keep doing our thing. We do have a muddy, sloppy mess, but I got it all corralled to that one end, so that's good news. Let's see how this goes. I told Matt he got caught up rolling. I said hump the other 850 and get us caught up a little bit. Well, he got the dirt to the trench, not quite in the trench. Gotta give him some seat time. He's gotta learn somehow. He's getting there. He's kind of figured out how to run the controls. He just gotta learn how to be an excavator now. Third lift is complete. This fourth one should get us up to grade to about down around the corner there. We'll probably have to go two more when we're down through there. It's going pretty good. I'd like to find a little bit of drier dirt, but it's gonna seal off nice. It just ain't packing the best, but it's gonna seal off nice. That's the main thing. All right, talking to Jerry, I think he's probably right. There's so much water in this ground and he's having a hard time staying dry in his hole down there, so I'm gonna hop on the second dozer. We're just gonna push a big lift in here together and then we'll buzz it off and compact it, and that way we can stay ahead of the game. This is a wet hole. It's like building a pond in a swamp. So, all right, I'm gonna get to pushing.
I think Mike's in a bit of a hurry.
get you guys a clip here before it gets too dark. So as you guys can see, we got the core trench filled in. What we were finding up there is water and just nasty, nasty, nasty dirt. Really surprised. We thought we were gonna hit some better dirt pretty quick, and we didn't. It's so bad we can't even run the jag because it's so heavy. You guys always wonder why I don't have bigger dozers. This is why we don't have bigger dozers. The 850B is still getting along all right, but we did find, we were getting pretty worried, but we did find some good solid dirt over here. So what Jerry's trying to do right now is just kind of get that somewhat smoothed up for this evening before it gets too dark. We get back in here tomorrow, we'll start pulling some good dirt off this. This dirt here is going to seal up fine. We just need to get some dry dirt in with it to get some consistency to it, to get it to stiffen up a little bit. I think we'll get it, but man, this one's going to be a fight. This one is going to be a fight. We decided to do it in the fall. We're really not that wet right now. This is about as dry as it's going to get, so it's kind of a now or never scenario. There's just so much water coming out of this ground, it's ridiculous. But never give up attitude. We'll get her one way or another. I hope, I think. We'll find out. All right, guys, this is where we're going to end it up at the end of the day. I'm not going to lie, we hit a lot of mud, a lot of really soft subsoil. Getting pretty concerned about this project in general, but we did find some pretty good dirt right here. Kind of got a plan. Jerry and I were just kind of going over this, kind of got a plan of what we're going to do tomorrow. Basically, tomorrow we're going to focus on getting this area somewhat stabilized. That's what I'm going to call it, stabilized, before we go any further that way. This is probably some of the swampiest ground I've ever tried to build a lake in. I'm not worried about it sealing and holding water. I'm just worried about it getting it stable enough we can finish it. That's going to be my ultimate goal. So it don't look like it, but boy, oh boy, we moved a lot of dirt. We just dug a big hole and put her all back. So Jerry's going to be running a little late getting here tomorrow. He's actually got a dentist appointment. But Matt and I are going to show up. I think the 850J will run on this again. We'll probably take the D4G and run lifts up here on the dam and see what happens, guys. But this one's going to be a challenge. This one is going to be a challenge. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Definitely helps the channel. You want to see how this beautiful mess turns out, consider subscribing. Either way, guys, hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you tomorrow.